Hi, welcome to this Start Now session of DevNet Day 2020. My name is Akshar Sharma and I am a technical marketing engineer working at Cisco on all things related to iOS XR. Now today we're going to take a look at getting started with iOS XR ZTP. Now ZTP essentially stands for Zero Touch Provisioning, which means that we're looking at workflows starting right from day zero when the device is just powered on and doesn't even have a config. In order to understand all of this, we'll need to take a quick look at the ZTP capabilities within iOS XR and also the entirely new ZTP server capabilities and APIs that have been made available as part of the 3.2 release of Cisco Crosswork. So there's a lot going on. We'll actually bring them together within the demo. So let's get started. Alright, so as I mentioned, we're looking at network automation right from day zero. We'll combine the capabilities of iOS XR and Cisco Crosswork and create a very interesting workflow for automation on day zero as part of our demo. But before we get into that, I'll give you a quick lowdown on iOS XR ZTP, a crash course if you may call it, and then go into details of what Cisco Crosswork, particularly the ZTP server capabilities within Cisco Crosswork, have to offer. Of course, we'll take a look at the Crosswork ZTP APIs that allow us to basically create end-to-end closed-loop automation workflows as part of day zero itself. And then we'll go into the demo topology. And at the end, I'll give you a ton of links that you can go through to understand all of these pieces in a lot more detail than you'll get here. Let's start with the ZTP crash course. Now, when a device first reaches an installation site and it is powered on, there are two potential use cases that we can think of. If the device doesn't already have an image installed, then it is going to start the bootloader process, which for iOS XR platforms is iPXE. Now iPXE is the new age version of PXE boot, which means that the device is going to boot up, send out a DHCP request, get an option 67, that is file name option from the DHCP server, and then issue a request to the web server to download the image that was specified in option 67. This particular image, once downloaded, will be installed and the device will boot up. So this is the basic workflow for getting iPXE to install a new image onto a bare bone box. Another use case is when the device reaches the installation site with an image already installed. This could happen because the device has already undergone iPXE at an earlier stage, or because it already had an image installed during staging processes or by Cisco manufacturing before it was sent to the installation site. When this happens, the device is going to boot up with iOS XR and then start ZTP as the first process because it has no configuration on it at this point in time. As part of this process, the box is then going to send out a DHCP request, again get option 67, the file name option from the DHCP server, which provides the URL for either a config file or a ZTP script file that the device can download. The device will download it and then either apply the config if it's a config file or execute the script if it's a script. And of course, the scripts could be Python, Bash based, or they could be binaries that are compiled for the native distribution of iOS XR. And what are the different things that you could do? Well, you can simply apply a config. You can also deploy different types of applications. So bringing your own custom containers, binaries, cron jobs, etc. Software upgrades and downgrades are also fairly common. This means that a ZTP script could use the XR install infrastructure to be able to upgrade, downgrade the software, or reboot the device into the iPXE bootloader stage so that the device does iPXE in order to do the upgrade or downgrade. And of course, remember that the ZTP script itself relies on on-box automation libraries that are provided so that you can either provide a Python script using the Python ZTP library or a Bash script using the Bash ZTP library to completely automate the bring up of the device. This includes complete access to XR CLI, and with the release 7 of XR, you also have the capability to use Yang encoded XML files that can be directly pushed into the system so that you can start with Yang based onboarding right from day zero. Now let's take a look at Cisco Crosswork. Cisco Crosswork was basically created to provide automation and analytics capabilities at every stage of the device lifecycle. What you see here, particularly with Crosswork Health Insights and Crosswork Change Automation, are two pieces that have existed as part of the Crosswork suite that allow you to deal with day one plus operations. This means that health insights and change automation primarily depend on a device that is already booted up, is accessible, and has certain processes already running like SSH, SNMP, or NetConf based on how you want to connect to the device. Beyond that, health insights can basically take a look at telemetry information to monitor the state of the network through the device. And the Crosswork change automation system can be used to either initially provision the device to a certain config state or remediate based on analytics and actions provided through health insights. Now with the 3.2 release, it basically supports the classic version of zero touch provisioning in XR. Bear in mind that there is a secure ZTP version that is about to come in the near future. So what does the Cisco Crosswork ZTP server do? We looked at the basic ZTP workflow. We typically need a DHCP server and a passive web server, and that is enough. But with the Crosswork ZTP server, we not only get the web server capabilities so that we can store the images and the config or scripts that a device may need, but we're also able to provide the Crosswork ZTP APIs, which much like all the APIs of Crosswork are pretty much exhaustive and cover all the capabilities that its dashboard UI has to offer. This means that while the device will continue to operate the same way and is able to send DHCP requests out, get the URL and download it, images and configs from the Crosswork controller, you can also bring in job schedulers into the picture, which means that either you create homegrown scripts or schedulers or use open source schedulers like Kubernetes or Marathon, etc., that are able to hook into the Crosswork ZTP APIs and basically create a closed loop automation infrastructure, which may even include the DHCP server based on the level of automation that you're looking for. When we look at the demo today, we're basically trying to create a closed loop automation workflow on day zero using the Cisco Crosswork ZTP APIs and our custom REST hook server that we've created and pushed to GitHub. The topology basically looks like this, and the workflow involves the hook server first setting up the ZTP configs, profiles and device settings on the Crosswork UI, and that is done through the Crosswork ZTP APIs. Once that's done and the device is powered on, it will send out the initial DHCP request, get the URL for the config to be downloaded, and if it's iPXE, it might be the image that you're looking for. The Python script is downloaded from the Crosswork ZTP server and starts executing on the box. And this Python script has some special logic to be able to talk to the hook server upon successful completion. It will send out a post request to the hook server. The hook server, upon receiving this notification, is then going to trigger onboarding using the change management APIs that are also available as part of Cisco Crosswork. This basically means that through this closed loop automation workflow, we are able to get the hook server to be able to onboard the device through notifications provided by the Python ZTP script on the box itself. Alright, now before we get into the demo, let's take a look at the Cisco Crosswork dashboard UI itself. We'll take a look at some of the pieces here so that you can understand what we'll actually set up as part of the Crosswork ZTP APIs that we'll utilize in the REST server. When we take a look at the device management portal, you'll see that there are currently no devices set up. We'll set these up using the APIs in just a bit. There are no credentials set up either, and of course no ZTP profiles. Profiles are basically used to link configs and images with a particular set of devices that we want to onboard. The only thing that we've already set up is an image that has been uploaded, as well as a dummy config file, which is actually a Python script location that allows us to create a known URL, and we've set up a DHCP server to always respond back with this particular URL. What we intend to do as part of the APIs that are provided is actually upload a custom ZTP script on the same URL using the ZTP APIs with the REST server. That way the DHCP server doesn't need to be touched, while we can make sure that we have a custom config provided for every device that is onboarded. Let's go to GitHub, where I have the XR REST ZTP code that resides. This is basically the hook server code. All of the details are already published here, so you can take a look at the APIs that are utilized as well as the instructions to run this server on your own. And once you take a look at the code, it will show you that it basically takes all of the Crosswork ZTP APIs that are documented on DevNet, and we'll take a look at those links in just a bit, and is able to have a workflow where it sets up the device in anticipation of ZTP. In addition to that, there is also a Flask server that is set up as part of the code so that the hook server, as mentioned earlier, can listen to post requests that the ZTP Python script that the device executes will send. The Python script that we intend to use are provided as part of the ZTP configs folder here. This is the script that will be uploaded to the Cisco Crosswork ZTP server, and it has all of the logic to bring up the required configuration on the device, and at the end of it make a request to the REST server, that is the hook server, notifying it that the script has successfully executed. In addition to that, all of the input to the REST server comes through a JSON file that you can basically set up beforehand. So all your devices that you need to onboard can have their own settings within such a JSON file, and this JSON file is provided to the hook server for onboarding. Now, before we proceed any further, let's take a look at the ZTP server APIs that are provided by Cisco Crosswork and how we can utilize them using Postman. This will help you understand the structure of the APIs themselves and then be able to leverage these APIs in your own automation workflows, such as the Python script that I was just showing. Now, in this case, the Postman collection that I'm using with all the different API calls that you see here, these have already been shared publicly. You will actually find the URL for this collection in the Git repo that I shared earlier. Now, the basic workflow is simple. You need to first generate a ticket based on the username password for Cisco Crosswork. This ticket allows us to go ahead and fetch a time-based token that will be utilized for all the rest of the APIs. So the APIs require authentication and they use a time-limited token for that purpose. Now, once we have this token available, you can take a look at any of these APIs, whether it's the addition of a device, a new profile, credentials, and so on. And what we can do is try a quick check. Like, for example, here is the data regarding the credentials for the device that we want to eventually onboard. So we can set this up beforehand by using the create credentials API shown here. As you can see, I just sent a new API call and the job was completed. If I hop over to the Cisco Crosswork UI, we can take a look at the credentials page and you will see that a new credential entry has now been created. This was because of the API call that we just made. Now let's remove this because we're actually going to set this up using our hook server Python code later anyway. So we can jump back into our Postman and issue a delete credentials, which will delete the credentials that we just added. Great, and as you can see, we again have a bare bones setup on Cisco Crosswork. Now let's go ahead and launch our server. For that purpose, I'll hop over to my terminal. We'll first take a look at the router that we intend to onboard. Now, we're not actually booting the device from scratch because that will take much longer. Instead, we have the device already booted up, but without any configuration on it. This basically means that we can go ahead and initiate a ZTP that will behave in almost exactly the same fashion as if the box had been booted up from scratch. So we'll use this to initiate ZTP, but before we do that, we'll need to set up everything that we need using the hook server first. So let's jump over to the hook server, jump into the Git repo that we've cloned. The code that was shown on GitHub has already been compiled into a Docker image, and both the Git repo as well as the Docker image have been pulled and set up on this particular server. And this is the Docker run command that I'll use to set up the hook server itself. This is going to open up a port on socket 5000, listening for post requests from the ZTP script once it completes, and all of the initial configs associated with the device are provided as an input JSON file that is mounted into the Docker image. So let's run this command. Great. And now let's take a look at the logs in real time. Great, you can see that it went ahead and started its REST server listening for requests. The report from the logs indicate that it was able to successfully update the configuration, create profiles, credentials, and add the device successfully. Let's see the effect of this on the Crosswork UI. We'll go ahead and check devices first. When I click on the Zero Touch Devices portal, you can clearly see that we just set up a device based on the NCS ZTP profile that was also created by our hook server, and the device is currently unprovisioned. In addition to that, if you take a look at the ZTP profile itself, this was also created by our hook server, and it is able to associate both a config file and the image that needs to be provided to the box. Credentials have also been set up. These are basically the same credentials that we had set up using the Postman API call earlier, so nothing new there. And we also have the config file that was updated by the hook server here, maintaining the URL that we expected. So when I click here, you can see this is the Python script from the GitHub repo that was pushed to Cisco Crosswork by the Docker hook server that we just ran. Perfect. Alright, now let's get back to our terminal. The REST server is currently running. We just have to initiate ZTP on the router. Now before we go ahead and initiate ZTP, let's take a look at the DHCP server config. The ISC DHCP server configuration is dumped here, and you can see that the file name option, that is option 67, points to the URL corresponding to the config that we just updated, which is the ZTP script, and this will force the device to use this URL and download the script from Crosswork. And bear in mind that here we are identifying the serial number of the device and then making sure that we are providing this URL uniquely for the device that is going to make a request. Now before we continue, let me set up a DHCP dump here so that we're able to see the requests and responses shared between the DHCP server and the router as ZTP executes. Alright, so we have DHCP dump running. Now let's execute ZTP. Let's hop back to our DHCP server to see any of the DHCP request responses that get exchanged. There, the request came in and the DHCP server responded back with the URL for the config, that is the script that will be downloaded by the device from Cisco Crosswork. Now let's go ahead and jump on to our hook server. Here we're waiting for a successful completion of the downloaded Python script by the device before it goes ahead and sends a post request to notify the hook server. But actually before we do this, let's jump on to the Crosswork ZTP server. As the config gets downloaded, the device will now go into an in progress state. Let's do a quick refresh. There, because it's gone to the in progress state, it means that a download request came to Cisco Crosswork and the device has continued to now execute the script. Now let's jump onto a hook server to make sure that we are able to watch the post request from the ZTP script come in. We'll wait a few moments. There, so the post request just came in and the hook server then made a corresponding API call to Crosswork to make sure that it is now onboarded for day one management workflows. As a result of this, if we hop back to our Crosswork UI, let's do a refresh of this. You can see that the device is now onboarded for ZTP. The IP address has also been noted. And if we go on to the network devices page, perfect. So you can see that the device has now been onboarded for day one management as well. This is indicated by the fact that if we look at the show details here, Crosswork has already connected to the device over SSH and SNMP in order to make sure that it can get details of the device. So we just have a Cisco NCS 5501 with a 663 image and these capabilities and this serial number that was onboarded for ZTP and for day one management, all through a closed loop automation workflow. And that's it for the demo. Now, if you'd like to learn more about what I've just shown you, then there is a ton of content that you should take a look at. For iOS XR ZTP, your best bet is to go to XR Docs, where you'll find lots of blogs and tutorials teaching you how to use ZTP, setting up your DHCP server, all the different DHCP options that you should be aware of, and whether it's zero touch provisioning or iPXE, all of the details can be found there. In addition to that, on Cisco DevNet, we have learning labs available to run against a DevNet sandbox to play with all the iOS XR ZTP APIs, and these learning labs will be very useful for you to construct your own ZTP scripts, whether it's Bash or Python. On the GitHub links, you will find the iOS XR ZTP Python library along with sample scripts. These are extremely useful if you're starting your journey on iOS XR ZTP for Python. Now, the XR Res ZTP hook server that we looked at in the demo, the Git link for that is also provided here, so you can take a look at that and play with it when you have a chance. In addition to that, you'll find all the details for Cisco Crosswork, particularly for ZTP, but also for various other things on DevNet and Cisco.com. The Cisco Crosswork on DevNet basically contains all of the information associated with the API, how to make the calls, and play around with Postman clients, getting started with the initial bring up and things like that. And of course, the Postman collection that I mentioned earlier. This Postman collection has all of the information related to the APIs that I'm using as part of the demo. This would be very useful for you to get started and look at how these API calls are made, and then use that to create your own code and your own automation workflows. And that's pretty much it for this session. So hope you liked it and you're able to get some more information about ZTP and the different workflows that we can execute with iOS XR. And I think Cisco Crosswork really amps up the capabilities that we have for day zero automation. So it should be very interesting to see how different operators and customers are able to use these capabilities in the future. In the meantime, thank you, and hopefully we can provide more such content for you in the near future. Thanks.